Good morning. Welcome back to Condo Craze and HOAs here on our YouTube channel. I'm Karen Curtis. This is attorney Eric Glazer.
Good morning.
Both in green.
Right.
Yay.
A little late for St. Patrick's Day,
Yeah,
but
hey,
we're
what
good.
do you know?
Right.
So we're here again, of course, to educate and also to entertain and to just basically talk condo and HOA, anything that makes life in your condo or HOA absolutely crazy from one minute to the next. You can ask Eric a question because he's board certified by the Florida Bar in condominium and plan development law. He has a firm with attorneys in Fort Lauderdale and Orlando. And we're here each week to answer all your calls and emails about these issues. So we'd like to get the phone lines going early, no matter where you are in the state, the country, the world, toll free, 717-GLAZER-8 with Glazer with a Z, 717-GLAZER-8 or 717-452-9378. You can also ask a question in the chat box on the YouTube channel. Some people do both.
Absolutely.
It works out.
Yeah, absolutely. Last week, the phones were absolutely insane. I think when the show ended, we had like something like 15 calls that were on hold. So
thank you.
Call early. You could also, again, visit us in the chat box, like Karen said. If you're a fan of the show, don't forget to do two things. Number one, like Karen said, watch us on the YouTube channel, because by watching, you don't get a chance to just watch the show live. All of our shows are also there for you to see. And I can tell you, when you look back, you see how this show is doing. So many people watch the show afterwards. I know, Robert, you can chime in here if you want. After the show ended last week, I think within like 2 hours, we had something like 700 people who are actually watching it. So not everybody gets a chance to watch it during the show, but they get a chance to watch it after at their convenience. That's one thing about, a great thing actually, about now having this show on YouTube. It's wonderful.
Somebody else asks the question you have.
Yeah, exactly. And maybe it's there.
Yeah,
no
so maybe
question
you get
about
the answer to your question.
Also, make sure to join our email list at condocrazeandhoas.com, because by joining each week, you're going to get emails about the show, our blog, our seminars, our newsletters, updates on the law, and a lot more. We're going to slow down on the seminars, by the way, for a little while. Of course, don't forget, you can follow the show on Facebook, TikTok, Apple, and Spotify. And we do a blog every single Monday morning at hoa-condoblog.com. Again, hoa-condoblog.com. Tomorrow's topic, it's finally here. I'm going to call it my legacy. You know, I really am. Mandatory education for condominium directors. Today we're going to talk about condo, because last week we spoke about HOA directors.
Right.
Yeah, and you know, we're starting the show talking about a topic that I was never quite sure was ever going to be discussed on this show. And finally, after trying for about a decade to have mandatory board education, it passed. We're still waiting on the governor's approval, but don't worry about it.
We've been there before,
but it's a done deal.
Are you sure?
It's going to be a reality. I'm sure. Absolutely.
The defense's case holds water.
100%. Now, again, last week we spoke about how it's going to work for HOA board members. This week, let's talk about how it's going to work for members of a condominium board. And believe it or not, there's big differences between the two when it comes to education.
I'll bet there is. Yeah, I mean, every director is still qualified to sign that dumb affidavit, though. I just found that out. I can't even remember.
We'll get to it. That's still there. But here's the statute if you're playing along at home. It's 718.112 2D4B. Again, 718.112 2D4B. And it's called Condominium Director Education. Here's what the new statute says, okay? Again, this is condos. A director of a board of an association of a residential condominium shall certify in writing to the secretary of the association that he or she has read the association's declaration of condominium, the articles, the bylaws, the current written policies, and that he or she will work to uphold such documents and policies to the best of his or her ability, and that he or she will faithfully discharge his or her fiduciary responsibility to the association's members. You got to still do that. That's the bottom line.
Yeah, sign the affidavit, which people just did and didn't even take your course.
That's the problem.
And did they even read it when they signed it?
No. I've been at board meetings, right? Annual meeting, right? I've seen this a couple times. Annual meeting, a new board gets elected. I see the manager so excited to meet the new board. You know what they do for the first thing that they do for the board members?
Sign the affidavit.
Sign this, and they hand it out. The form that says, I've read the governing documents and I promise to enforce them. made me sick, but I've seen it a few times.
Of course.
But yeah, like you say, Karen, the director is still required to sign that, but there's nothing wrong necessarily with, agreeing to that you've read the governing documents. I think that's fine. Where signing that form was previously enough, though, to get certified, there's now the additional requirement, the one I always fought for, and here it is, okay, Section 2. They must also submit to the Secretary of the Association a certificate of having satisfactorily completed the educational curriculum administered by the division or division-approved condominium education provider, and there you have it. Bottom line, education is now required in order to stay on the board of directors. By the way, I forgot to do something. I'm a terrible dad. It's my daughter's 27th birthday.
Oh, my gosh.
Happy birthday, Jamie.
Jamie.
Okay, we'll see you soon.
We started this show. She was just a little girl.
Jamie was a little baby when we first started,
and
absolutely.
You created this school, the seminar type idea.
We were doing this, right out of the box.
You were.
When it became one way of getting certified, that's the way we wanted directors to do it, with an educational course, not by signing that dumb form.
Yeah, how long ago did you start it?
Probably, I'm doing it 15 years
15 years, so there you go.
So it took that long of a fight to get education mandatory, and we all know why did it happen? It happened because of collapse of a building. Yeah, that's what it took, unfortunately.
Unbelievable.
But yes, we're a division-approved condominium provider. That's something you got to show your credentials for in order to be a provider. So
you are division approved?
Yeah, absolutely. This. And
by the way, I think the lawmakers have also woken up to the fact that this is half the state living in a community association.
100%.
What was it? One of them was living in a condo?
Only one, believe it or not. Senator Pizzo, from what I understand.
So they didn't understand.
In the Florida legislature that lives in a condo. Everybody else, I understand, lives in an HOA.
So I think they went, oh, this affects a lot of our constituents.
Absolutely. So look, they made it for both. They made it for HOAs and they made it for condos, and I think that's a great thing. But here's one of the beefs I have with it. I'll tell you, there are non-lawyers who are teaching this class, and for whatever reason, non-lawyers get to be division-approved condominium education providers, and for the life of me, I have no idea how that's allowed.
Who's the division? DBPR?
Yeah, DBPR.
So that you have regulation, you have to be approved.
Yeah, the DBPR kind of sets the regulations that you have to have in order to be a provider, and there's a Florida Supreme Court case on point that says a manager cannot give legal advice, cannot answer questions. I cannot imagine then how a manager is allowed to teach this class. Are you going to go to this class and not wanting to ask one question? And by the way, the class is supposed to be several hours.
Yeah.
And should a manager be able to teach a course that's several hours long on law? I think it's insane.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, and I think I'm going to try to do something about that,
I think
quite frankly.
maybe it needs to be tweaked.
Yeah, that law needs to be changed because, like I said, there's a Florida Supreme Court case that says, managers can't do that. But
practicing law without a license.
That's what I think it is. That's exactly what I think it is, quite frankly.
Yeah. So how much education is required, and what do directors learn?
Okay, so the educational curriculum has to be at least 4 hours long. So think about that. Should a non-lawyer be able to teach this class that it's at least 4 hours long? Sounds stupid, doesn't it? Right? So the class has to be 4 hours long, and it has to include instruction on all the things we talk about on the show: milestone inspections, right? Structural integrity reserve studies, elections, record keeping, financial literacy and transparency, levying of fines, and notice and meeting requirements. And all this has to be done within 1 year before or 90 days after getting on the board. And again, I make sure to teach all of these topics when you go to my seminar, every single one.
Well, it's interesting, and you're talking about directors learning this, but directors, you should know that residents also come to these seminars.
Absolutely.
And they may know more than you because they've been coming for years.
Yeah, it's a good thing also because a lot of times residents walk out and say, wow,
yeah,
I did not know my board had to know all this stuff.
Yeah.
maybe I need to calm down a little bit.
Right.
There's a lot for them to know.
There is a lot for them to know.
I absolutely recommend that residents come.
The thing about the seminar, though, and your question about a manager who doesn't have a law license teaching it, if they stick to the curriculum and just...
If they just read... Right? If they just read. Is that the class you want to go to?
No, I want to go to your class.
Someone who's just reading to you?
Yeah, no.
I'm not saying just mine.
Well, to someone who can
answer a question, right? I mean, this enrages me, honestly.
Okay.
I'm happy I got, mandatory education passed, but it shouldn't be allowed to be taught by someone who's not a lawyer. I can even make the argument it should be taught only by board-certified lawyers in this area.
Right.
Right? But no, I won't even go that far, and I will say, though, it should be taught by lawyers. Let's talk about those people who are already on the board. What about these new requirements and whether or not it applies to them? And for those of you who are already on a board, this is what the statute says. A director of an association of a residential condominium who was elected or appointed before July 1st, 2024, okay, when the law goes into effect. So if you're on a board on July 2024, you must comply with the written certification and educational certificate requirements by June 30th, 2025. So you have to take this class again, because if you took the class previously, I don't know if you were taught the milestone inspections, the new reserve
So
thing.
those who just took your course are covered?
Yeah, the ones
certified.
who took it, within the last 2 months. Yeah, you're good, because I can tell you we certainly taught all of these things, that's for sure.
And how long is the certification good for?
So the written certification or educational certificate, according to the new statute, it's valid for 7 years after the date of issuance and doesn't have to be resubmitted as long as the director serves on the board without interruption during a 7-year period. So to be clear, that long 4-hour class, if you take it, that's good for 7 years.
Okay.
Okay?
But if he serves on a board without interruption, that doesn't happen. You have
sometimes it's hard, to stay. That didn't go into effect yet.
Oh.
Yeah. Slow down. I know what you're thinking about. There's a law that is going to go effect. It's actually in effect that says you can't serve more than 8 years.
Yeah.
Right. The first year that we're going to count is 2018 on that one.
Okay.
So let's not worry about it until 2026. But you're right. 2 years from now, we do have to worry about it.
But what about the ones with 2-year terms?
Well, yeah, once they're off, they got to go through this all over again.
Okay. And what about continuing education? Because that's another requirement, which was like an added cherry on top.
Let me tell you,
so
I didn't ask for that.
I know you didn't.
I didn't even ask for continuing education, but the legislator thought that this was so important. Representative Lopez, Vicky Lopez, thought that this was so important that she threw continuing education in their bill. Rob, I'm going to want you to chime in on this one. I understand you had some contact with her office this week.
Indeed, we're trying to get her on the show.
Yay!
Yeah, I understand she will be on the show. We're just deciding whether or not it's going to be in person or an interview during the week, and we want her to show up in person.
We'll have her on the big screen behind us here.
We want all of you to have the opportunity to, number one, thank her. Number two, have the ability to ask her questions.
Yeah.
So she's definitely going to be on the show, but we want to make sure we're hoping that it's in person. We'll know more.
That'd be
this
great.
week. Yeah, we'll know more this week.
Once the governor signs.
Yes.
Yeah,
we'll
have to just make sure he signs it.
So let's talk about continuing education. There's so much here. 1 year after submission of the most recent written certification and educational certificate, look at this, and annually thereafter, each year, a director of an association of a residential condominium must submit to the secretary of the association a certificate of having satisfactorily completed at least 1 hour of continuing education administered by the division or division-approved condominium education provider relating to any recent changes to 718 and the administrative rules during the past year. So we have continuing education now. So at least 1 hour per year regarding any changes. Now, let me tell you how I'm going to run it. I'm not going to make a special 1 hour class each year. I'm not going to do it that way. If there's a change to the law, I'm going to include that change in my main class.
Yeah.
So when someone comes in, that change, it'll be there. So at least, by taking my class, you satisfy the 1 hour continuing education requirement and you get a refresher on everything else you need to know.
So,
and I think that's a good way to do it.
I think I know the answer to this,
Yeah.
but I'm going to ask you. What happens if the director misses or fails to meet the deadline?
It's not as tough as you'd like it to be. So like
It's not
before,
off the board?
Yeah, you are off the board. A director of an association of a residential condo who fails to timely file the written certification or educational certificate is suspended from service on the board until he or she complies. And the board may temporarily fill the vacancy during the period of suspension. So that's
With
a good
somebody
thing. They're
else
off.
who's taken the seminar?
Or it's someone else who's done it, right?
Okay.
Exactly. So, you know, it's good, but a lot of times it just doesn't happen. So,
Well, I know that every graduate is given a certificate. Is the certification document an official record of the association,
Yeah,
so you can look it up online?
it is. That document, like that I hand out at the seminar, it is an official record. And what does it say? The secretary shall cause the association to retain that director's written certification or educational certificate, again, for 7 years after a director's election or the duration of the director's uninterrupted term.
And it says that on the certificate you give them?
And it doesn't say that, but I think, yeah, might have to change it now. That says
Yeah.
it's good for 7 years.
Yeah, so
and
that
that's
they
good. You
know
got
that,
me
and then
thinking now.
they hand that over
To the secretary, they can
Secretary.
train a copy for themselves.
and put it
But
up
it's-
on the website.
Yeah, and it's not just for the 7 years, but every year that there's a change, you got to go back.
Right.
Yeah, so
oh my
big
goodness.
changes,
You- you're
incredible
really-
changes.
Yeah, you've complicated people's lives.
Yeah, it's a big change.
But who's monitoring this? I mean, who's actually going and seeing that these directors have their certificate?
Okay, believe it or not, you have to tell the DBPR now. That's
Okay.
a big change. You know, the law now says on the certification form provided by the division, which means the DBPR is going to now print a form and give it to condominiums. The directors of the association shall certify that each director of the association has completed the written certification and educational certificate requirements. It's a big deal.
Not me.
Yep, so each director has to certify on that form provided by the DBPR that they're creating that they took this educational class. And to me, you know, the word certify means they have to swear to it.
Oh.
And to me, it may be perjury to say that you took the class when you didn't. This is an official government document. So I think it's a big deal. I think that form is a big deal.
So no more flying under the radar.
No, I think if you lie on that form and you have to swear to it, then you're lying on an official government document. I think it's perjury. But there you have it. Mandatory condominium education for directors, and you certainly know how Karen and I feel about it, but let's see what our listeners think. Call us in the studio, 717-GLAZER-8, again, 717-GLAZER-8. That's 717-452-9378, or drop us a question or comment in the chat box on YouTube, on the Condo Craze and HOA's channel. We'll be back right after this.
There are very large management companies, and there are very small management companies, and I think Affinity sits somewhere in the middle of that, where they are big enough to provide you with all of the back-of-the-house services, the accounting, the infrastructure, the support systems, but small enough to be high touch.
We believe at Affinity that we do the 9 to 5 so that you don't have to do that.
Oh no, an unexpected leak. Jay, you know that's no way to solve a roof problem. Call Best Roofing. We solve roof problems.
We are DMI Paving and Seal Coating, Florida's parking lot experts. We specialize in asphalt paving and repair, including pothole repair, seal coating using JC7 or polytar, concrete curbs, ramps, and walkways, and striping and pavement marking, as well as ADA compliance. We service commercial properties, including homeowners associations, apartment communities, shopping malls, warehouses, stadiums and arenas, and more. Experience is worth more than anything in an industry like ours, and our staff has decades of it. We have specialized equipment for any job, regardless of size, saving you time and money. DMI has a reputable history. We have been in business since 1956. We serve the state of Florida from 6 locations. Let us bid on your next parking lot project. Visit us online at dmipavingandsealcoating.com.
For mitigation after a catastrophic event, building restoration, repair and remediation consulting, or Senate Bill 4D inspections, please visit rimkiss.com.
Welcome back to Condo Craze and HOAs on our YouTube channel, and I am Karen Curtis with attorney Eric Glazer. He's board certified in community association law. Lots of people asking questions in the chat box. Kathy Sarmiento wants to know, how much does it cost to take these education classes?
Yeah, most are free. You know, certainly mine is absolutely. We've never charged 1 penny for it over 15 years. But a couple of good questions on the chat box also. The Unicorn Candy Queen writes in that she's finally received financials and she sees checks made out to the board in cash, noted as refunds or reimbursements, but she can't see what it's for. That is a big problem, because certainly if board members are being reimbursed for something, there better be a receipt attached to that, invoice. There better be something there that shows what they're being reimbursed for. I can tell you that if something like that was reported to the DBPR, they would immediately start an investigation and they'd stop that process. And I can tell you that accountants who do the books and records for associations hate when things are done like that. They do not want reimbursements in the form of cash. Get a credit card for the association.
Not a debit card.
Not a debit card. Very good, Karen. Now get a credit card and use the credit card. I'm talking like a frog. I'm green. Right? So get a credit card and use the credit card. That's fine. But cash reimbursements, no, absolutely not a way to go. Underneath him, we got David Sandlofer. Dave writes in, my doc state nothing is allowed on the walkway, but recently I became disabled. I need a ramp to exit and enter the condo. What can I do to get a ramp? This is an interesting one. So Dave is asking for what's called a reasonable accommodation.
I just bought one on Amazon for my dad so he can get his card in the door, a 2-inch little ramp.
So there you go. So under federal law, Florida law, when you ask for reasonable accommodation.
I just did it.
You did it. And did your association complain that that ramp is there?
But it's not like I'm in a hallway. I have a walkway from the parking lot, and so it's just a little rubber mat. But if you're in a hallway, maybe that's different.
Yeah, I don't know what Dave is specifically talking about. I'd have to see it. But if it's reasonable, and by the way, if Dave is willing to pay for it,
yeah, we did.
They don't have to pay for it. But if Dave is willing to pay for it, they cannot prevent him from doing that.
Well, see, the upper levels, though, it would kind of impede the walkway.
Okay.
See?
I'm not getting the picture in my mind, quite frankly.
Well, I'm on the first floor, so we have a walk, and it's all our area.
Yes.
But up above us are just walkways that are maybe 6 feet wide.
Okay.
And so if you have a ramp, it's going to come out into the walkway.
Right. Maybe it's something that would have to be put down and picked up each time. I have no idea.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, I don't know. but I think if it's reasonable, the bottom line is it has to be reasonable.
Okay.
You can't have somebody trapped in their home, right? If it's a reasonable request. So I think Dave may win that one, you know, but I'd have to see what it looks like, again, especially if Dave's willing to pay for it. Thomas writes in, we have a 90-day delinquent condo board member who is the secretary. The answer to that is no, you don't. Right? Let's take our first call.
Let's see. All right, let's go to Elizabeth.
How are you, Elizabeth?
Hello. Hi, I'm fine. Thank you so much for all the information.
You're what? Where are you calling from, Elizabeth?
Panama City.
Okay, wow. Okay.
Wow, pretty.
Far trip. How can we help?
We got an insurance settlement to replace doors, windows, and roof.
Right.
We had a board member that decided while this was going on that she wanted to extend. She lives upstairs in a 4-unit building, and she had steps up to her unit and a little platform in front of her door. She decided to extend that platform all the way across the side of the building to make herself a balcony. And
It's good to be the king.
association ended up paying for this.
Really?
So I'm wondering if I can go after her to try to recoup the money for the association, and if I do, is she allowed to use
Well,
the association lawyer to pay for hers?
well, the first thing that comes, no, she should not be out using the association's lawyer.
Unless it's an
for
egress
this.
thing.
Well, let me say it this way. Is it something you can see when you're obviously see from when you're standing, you know, in front of the building, or it's obviously a visible change?
That's a balcony. It was made into a balcony where it used to just be a little platform to the door. It goes all the way across the side of the building.
Okay, so it's you know, certainly sounds to me like there was a material alteration to the common areas without a vote of the community.
Unless they're saying she needs to be able to get out a window in case of something and have some place to stand on.
Yeah, I mean, is it, well, let me ask you this, is it her own property that she changed, or is it part of the common area?
No, it was a stairway only up to her unit, so it was her own. And she also replaced her back balcony. That was absolutely her own, too.
Okay, okay.
She had a deck back with her.
All right, so it's a limited common element, I guess, probably under your docs that she changed. Does the association allow other people to change their balconies or stairways?
No, that building is actually the only one that has balconies on it.
Has other people done it?
No, while this was going on,
Right.
one of the board members downstairs decided that he wanted to change his window to a door.
Okay.
And he did this.
Well,
And then they also, the unit above him was being rented out. The lady lived in Tennessee that owned it.
right.
And they changed his window to a door
Okay.
also. So
If-
now that is actually on
So if the
her
windows,
balcony.
okay, hold on. If the windows are common element, and I don't know if they are or they are not, and you're changing a window to a door, that would certainly be a material alteration, and you would need a vote of the community to do it. What is the percentage of that vote? You have to look in your governing documents to see what's required for a material alteration. If nothing's there, 75% automatically. Now, we might have just kind of skipped over another portion. I think you said an insurance claim came in, a check came in, and that check was used to pay for all of this, right?
Well, that plus we ended up spending 3 times as much as the insurance money came in.
Okay, but why did you use insurance money to pay for what she wanted to do to her balcony?
Because she was on the board.
Ah, well,
And
there you go. Now, if that was reported to the DBPR, it seems to me that potentially that could be theft, literally theft. So I think that's something that, you know, you may want to report to the DBPR because, and again, I don't know, and I'm just saying it may be, I don't know, but it doesn't seem like the association should be paying for changes to an individual person's unit. You know, I can't figure out really any way that might be
Well, just that
impossible.
maybe they're in a bedroom, and if they're disabled, they need to be able to have a way out, 2 ways out of their building.
Even if so,
Does that make sense?
Again, you see what I told David? If you want a reasonable accommodation, you pay for it.
Right.
You don't take the association's funds to pay for it. So
Right.
there's a lot here.
Yeah.
And it certainly may take hiring an attorney to find out what really happened here and whether or not the funds that were used to change her whole place should be given back to the association, because it just doesn't seem to me that that insurance check should be used for one person. Kind of bizarre who's on the board. So
Yeah.
I don't like the way it sounds. Again, I'm not going to say 100% that this person stole something, but off the bat, does it sound kosher? No, it does not. So I would suggest certainly an investigation further, and maybe the DBPR would do that investigation. Okay? How about the next call? Who do we got, Robert?
Let's go to, it looks like Cameron, but it might be Janet too. The transcription's a little weird.
Cameron or Janet? Okay, who do we got?
Hi, it's Karen, and good morning. And
Such
Eric,
a Karen.
thank you so much. Bravo to you
Thank you. Thank you.
for advocating mandatory education.
Thank you so much.
I have taken your classes online, in person,
Really?
and this year, of course, with all the changes,
Yes.
I've taken it twice. So,
Really? Thank you
you.
so much. What do you think? I mean, a lot to learn, right?
Oh my God. Well, here, I've been doing this for quite a while, and I've been taking classes, including extension classes, whatever, and I'm still, and my reason for my call is you just never know what you're going to run into.
Absolutely.
So we've got a situation with 10 years ago, the Master Association was changed from a 718 to a 617.
Okay.
Well, while the subs are all 718, and in 2018, you wrote in your blog, so just what is a master association?
Right. I remember writing
at that time, you said, well, could it be it's definitely not a 718 due to case law, but it could be a 720.
Yes.
And you know that being a 617 is fraught with problems. You can't make complaints to the DPPR, et cetera. So my question to you, has there been, since 2018, any clarification on that?
I wrote, yes, I remember writing a supplemental blog kind of on this issue. And it had to do with the authority of a master association over sub-associations. And basically it said that they normally fly under 720, not 617. They normally fly under 720. 617 is kind of, as you know, the old statute. 720 was created to kind of take all associations other than condos and put them together in one group. So that's kind of what the blog was about. And it basically said master associations have more power than you think. If the documents in any way seem to give the master association power, it does. It absolutely does. So that's the only thing I remember writing about subsequent to that original, the original blog we wrote in 2018, I think you said it was.
Wow.
But you see, there's a lot of research you can do on our blog.
So what you're saying is if they have authority, which they do, their bylaws provide them with authority.
Yes.
If it does, and let's say that there is a dispute, you could go to the DPPR and say, no, this is a
There have been cases, yes.
720.
Yes, and I got to tell you, it's very possible, you have to go through the checklist, but it's very possible that, you think it's a 617, you think it's a 720, and guess what? It turns out to be a 718 also. There's a lot of case law on that as well. You got to go through the checklist and see. Yes,
Can you explain
it's very
that 718
complicated.
is condo?
718 is condo. It might
720 is
720 is HOA.
And then this, what she's talking about, the
617 is
I've never heard of that.
It's 617 is the corporation statute, right?
Okay.
So before we had 718, before we had 720, you were just building communities,
okay.
right?
So why would something go from a condo to an HOA?
It depends on whether or not you
the master
meet
board.
the checklist, right?
Because we have a master board that's an HOA,
Right.
but I'm in a condo.
Right,
So I
okay.
have a 720 and a 718.
Okay, so you go through like the checklist. You look at this master association and you say, okay, wait a minute. What is this master association actually doing? Is it controlling property?
Okay.
Check. Does it have the ability to levy people who are not paying? Check. Are the only homes that are within this property that we're talking about, are they all condominiums and not HOA? Yes. Then you fall into a 718 master association and not a 720. You know, everybody thinks out there that just because it's a master, it's automatically 720. Not the case. It can absolutely be a 718 master association as well. Okay? There's a lot to know on this topic.
But the lawyer for the master is saying, no, it's not a 718. So my question is, if you were to go file a complaint with the DPPR,
yes,
should you file it as a 720, a 718, or let the
file it as a
DPPR
718
decide?
complaint? Because if you file it under 720, they just might throw it in the garbage. That's the problem. You know, file it as a 718 issue. Because as you know, they may take the position, we don't have authority over 720 issues. Goodbye. Unless it's election or recall. So, you know, so the only chance you have is filing it as a 718. Okay?
Thank you, Karen.
You got it. Thanks, Karen,
Thank you
so much. You got it. Appreciate it. Let's do this. Let's take our bottom of the hour break. Taking your calls, 717-GLAZER-8, again, 717-GLAZER-8, or drop us a question in the chat box on YouTube. We'll be back right after this.
The future of fiber is here. QXC Communications is a fiber network engineering firm based in Boca Raton. We build fiber networks that deliver high-speed internet, Wi-Fi, HDTV, and voice services, primarily to Florida's condominium communities. QXC's AON architecture is the industry's best practice and a game changer for our customers. We run 2 dedicated fibers to each unit. No splitters, no cables. So, every resident gets uninterrupted blazing fast speed and military-grade data security. Our Wi-Fi 6 network deployment powers performance on multiple devices with no dead zones. And the QXC TV app makes everyday programming access a breeze with 3-day rewind and optional cloud DVR. QXC AON Fiber is where the industry is heading. Get connected today.
Is your condominium or HOA in need of accounting services? Look no further. Gerstle, Rosen & Goldenberg is one of South Florida's largest accounting and auditing firms, as recognized by the South Florida Business Journal, and is one of the few accounting firms uniquely specialized to provide accounting services to their growing condominium and homeowner association clientele throughout Florida. With primary offices in Aventura and Boca Raton, satellite offices in Naples and Orlando, and a professional staff of 65, Gerstle, Rosen & Goldenberg is prepared to meet the needs of any condominium or HOA in the state. The professionals at Gerstle, Rosen & Goldenberg also have experience working with timeshares, cooperatives, hotel condominiums, mixed-use buildings, and ancillary operations like restaurants, spas, and country clubs. Put their 25 years experience in your corner. Gerstle, Rosen & Goldenberg, 305-937-0116. That's 305-937-0116 or grgcpa.com.
Someday, you will need insurance. And for that day, you'll be glad you wrote down Insurco Insurance and Financial Services. Why? Because Insurco virtually insures everything. They're a full-line insurance agency that'll put together the best possible coverage and premium for almost anything. Need homeowners or condo insurance? Call Insurco. Need auto or motorcycle insurance? Call Insurco. How about golf cart insurance or trailer and RV insurance? Just call Insurco for a free quote. They're open every day. From renters insurance, officers and directors insurance, and personal liability umbrellas to all types of business insurance, boat insurance, cancer policies, life, health, and annuities. All you need is Insurco. Get a free quote. They service Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach. Speak English and Spanish. Insurco Insurance and Financial Services. It's the only name you need. Office at 14401 West Sunrise Boulevard in Sunrise, inside Edmore Chevrolet.
Call 954-846-1206. 954-846-1206. That's 954-846-1206.
All over the world, people have plumbing problems. These problems can be expensive and destructive to fix. Have you ever wondered if there was a way to take care of your plumbing problems without destruction and an outrageous price tag? Welcome to Pipelining Technologies, Inc. where we specialize in fixing your problems without demolition and minimum cutting by means of pipelining. Pipelining is the ability to take a pipe damaged by root intrusion or long-term deterioration and make it new. By means of inserting an epoxy-saturated liner into the pipe and allowing it to harden or cure, leaving behind a brand new pipe.
That sounds great. How can I get pipelining in my home, commercial building, or condominium?
Simply fill out our online contact form and a pipelining representative will get in touch with you in a timely fashion, or call us directly at 561-853-5463.
Welcome back to Condo Craze and HOAs on our YouTube channel. Karen Curtis with attorney Eric Glazer. He is the guru of anything community association condo HOA. He invented the seminars, and also he's basically single-handedly gotten legislation passed that's going to make it mandatory.
Well, not single-handedly, but I tried. I tried.
Yes, you did.
Something I tried to push through for a long time.
It's mandatory. And then you have questions in our chat box. You can also give us a call at 717 Glazer with a Z8. That's 717-452-9378. And we have a question from Bruce Weddle in the chat box. So we have handicap board members. Can they take the certification classes online?
Look, there's going to be classes that are offered online.
Yeah.
You know, I may do it, and I understand. I understand there are people out there that are handicapped and can't really travel, and I feel for them. So for them, maybe I'll do an online class. But the truth is, I don't really want to do an online class. I don't want people to think that I'm always going to be doing an online class, because I think there's nothing like being in person.
Oh, yeah. I know you love it.
My son goes to college, and he has these online classes,
Yeah.
and I hate it. I just absolutely hate it. I think, why aren't you sitting in a classroom?
COVID.
Yeah, right. Killed everything.
It did.
Right.
I mean,
it just
they're
destroyed everything.
But there's some things that are much easier to, like doctor visits that you don't
100%. I understand.
really appreciate that.
I understand, but.
And a lot of court stuff that I cover for radio.
Absolutely.
I can do it through
I have
online.
hearings and stuff
Yeah.
online, and that's a good thing.
It's
but
really helpful.
I think for this type of lesson, this type of education, there's nothing like being in person. But yes, there will be classes absolutely available for people that are handicapped. No two ways about it.
Is it just going to be for handicapped people?
No,
Oh,
not
okay.
necessarily. No, because there's no way you're going to be able to verify that.
Okay.
But,
Oh,
it
that's
will be
right.
available to handicapped people.
Okay, so Nancy Cook with an E. She asks, our board members hardly speak English. They don't understand the CE class.
Now, this is also what bothers me. Just let me preface it by saying...
They're in Spanish, too, yeah.
They're in Spanish. Now, let me preface this answer by saying, believe it or not, the residents of the state of Florida voted, I want to say about 15 years ago or so, to make English the official language of the state of Florida. I don't know if many people don't know that.
I didn't know that.
But there is actually a constitutional amendment in Florida that says English is the official language of
People
Florida.
in Miami don't know that.
Look it up. It's there, okay? So why is that important? Because I don't think these classes should be given in any language other than English. The laws are written in English, and your governing documents are written in English.
Some people don't speak English, though.
I'm sorry, how can you really teach it if the law, like I said again, the laws are in English and your governing documents are in English? I think the class should be taught in English. If that offends some people, and like I said, the official language of the state of Florida is in English. If that offends some people, I'm sorry, that's how I feel about it. You got a different answer? Hey, I'm open to other, the way other people feel. I'd like to hear from you if you think I'm wrong, but like I said, I think it's got to be in English.
But I think with AI and everything, there's a way to translate it instantly into Spanish.
Perhaps, but the class should be taught in English.
The class on English, and then they could get some AI robot to translate it for them.
Maybe.
But then, is he translating it correctly?
Then it's a class really in Spanish, and I just don't think it should be given in Spanish.
So Robert is asking, are 2023 audited financial statements due to owners by April 30th?
Yes, they are. It's coming up.
Yeah,
okay?
it is.
So by April 30th, your year-end financial report for the year of 2023 is due. What does it mean that it's due? So by April 30th, you have to be able to tell everybody in your community that, hey, our year-end financial report is due. You actually have to send them something that says that the year-end financial report is done, and you're entitled to a copy of it for free by either asking us to mail it to you, or you can stop in our office and get a copy. But you have to let everybody in the community know that the report is actually done.
And it's not on the website?
And it's got to be put on the website as well. Now, let me say this. Over the years, I've watched the DBPR, go after boards that have done things wrong and come up with, huge fines and stuff like that. Generally speaking, the DBPR, if a board does something wrong, they don't want to hurt the board the first time. They will educate the board. They will show the board how to do things the right way, and I give them a lot of credit for that. There's an exception to that, and the exception is failure to finish your year-end financial reports timely, because that's kind of like a signal to them, wait a minute, what's going on here? Who's playing with the money? Why can't you finish this report on time? And they will come down after your association with thousands of dollars in fines, and if, God forbid, if you do it again. So if you're on their radar for doing it a second time, it's going to even be more. So your year-end financial reports better be done on time, period. Okay? That's the only way to answer that question.
But the residents are paying those fines.
Yeah, correct. That's
so the
true.
residents need to be on the board to make sure that the board is doing it.
Correct. That's right. The residents, who winds up paying the fines? The residents.
Yeah.
So I guess they got to take their anger out on the people that didn't get the report done on time. Exactly. Who else we got, Rob?
On the phone.
Let's see. Let's go to Jenny.
Hey, Jenny.
Hi, all. I'm asking you a question about...
Jenny, where you calling from? Wait, Jenny, where you calling from?
North Miami.
Okay. How can we help?
Okay. DOAH meetings or hearings. We're having a big one, and I wanted to know if the public can hear and watch.
Department of Administrative Hearings. You want to know if the public can go in and watch. Yeah, I would say there's certainly public hearings that I think the public can go in and watch. I couldn't see why not. But where are they being held is the first question.
Tallahassee.
In Tallahassee. So if you're asking, can you walk into the meeting in Tallahassee? Yeah, I think you probably can. But if you don't want to go to Tallahassee, do you have the right to watch it on Zoom or something like that? Are you asking that question, or do you actually want to go there?
I'm asking that question.
Zoom.
I'm asking that question.
I don't know. I don't know if the division, with the department, I should say, has to give access by Zoom. I don't think they have to, quite frankly. I don't. It's like, does every single courtroom in the state have to give access by Zoom to the public? I don't know about that.
Do they have to create a public record, though?
Do they have to create a public record of the hearing? Yes, I think they do. But if it's in person, as long as it's being done in person, I think that's fine. And I think the young lady on the phone would have a right to walk into that hearing in Tallahassee and attend it. But you know what? Call up. You have nothing to lose by calling up and seeing what's the hearing about. Is it a condominium issue?
Oh, gosh, yes. Management company, DBPR versus a CAM.
Yeah, that's when it gets to when it gets big, and there's an investigation into like a management company. That hearing is held at the Department of Administrative Hearings, and I take it that you want to see what happens to your management company.
Correct.
Yeah, so I would call up and see what they say. I'd be interested to know. I don't know the answer, so educate me next week. Okay?
You got it. Thank
All right,
you so
thank
much,
you.
Eric.
You got it. I think we have one more final break of the hour to take. So let's take it now, okay? 717-GLAZER-8, 717-GLAZER-8. We'll be back right after this.
Is your home or condo looking old, worn out, and in need of a fresh look? Then you need PD Painting to paint your property and make it look like new again. PD Painting will first properly prepare your home and condo and then use only the highest quality paint products. After many years in the painting industry, PD Painting has achieved a reputation for always delivering a reliable and professional finish. PD Painting is fully licensed and insured and offers a 7 to 10-year warranty. Their technicians are expert craftsmen. Let PD Painting handle all the details and then sit back and watch them restore your property and bring back that brand new look and feel. Need a service call? PD Painting will be there on the spot. Need financing? PD Painting can offer that too. Call PD Painting at 888-416-3204. Again, that's 888-416-3204. Go to the website pdpaintinginc.com. Need painting done in your home and community? Contact the experts at PD Painting.
This message is for anyone who has taken on the important responsibility of becoming an officer or director in a homeowner or condominium association. It is also for the management companies who work closely with these caring people to make sure things are done the right way. Hello, I'm Gil Pomar, South Florida Regional President for Center State Bank, now the second largest bank based in Florida. Our bank, Center State Bank, has an amazing team of professionals who are exclusively dedicated to the homeowner and condo association market. Your job is not easy. There are repairs and new projects that need financing. There are legal and social issues that need to be understood. There are also technology and servicing issues that your residents want to be improved. Why not choose a bank that knows this business backward and forward? Why not have a local banker who will meet with you face-to-face whenever it is convenient for you or your board? Center State Bank has over 2,000 associations as customers for a reason. Please give us a chance to earn your business. Call Terry Russo at 954-633-1666 to make it happen. Center State Bank is an equal housing lender and a member of the FDIC.
Need an insurance evaluation, audit, or quotation for your condo association or homeowners association? If so, then you need to speak with our insurance experts at Mack & Waltz. We insure over 800 associations, and we are the clear leader in this marketplace. Mack & Waltz has been in business since 1989. We write insurance on billions of dollars of property values. We are an independent insurance agency representing insurance companies which specialize in condo and HOA insurance. The staff at Mack & Waltz works closely with board members and property managers and regularly attends association meetings to help educate the association about their insurance policies. To learn more about how Mack & Waltz can save you money and improve your insurance program, call now 954-640-6225 and ask for Greg Waltz. 954-640-6225. Mack & Waltz Insurance Group. Let us protect your association. Our channel, Condo Craze and HOA's channel. And I'm Karen Curtis, attorney Eric Glazer. He is board certified in community association law.
Yes, we got a few minutes left. Really quick, who do we got?
Let's see, the first caller would be Lucas.
Lucas, how are you, Lucas?
Hey, shalom, shalom. Good show. Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much. Shalom to you.
Thank you. So we have 5 board members, 3 new, 2 of the old. 2 of the old are not cooperating, especially with many things, and just wanted to find out what the best way possible will be to be able to have her removed besides the recall. One of them states that she doesn't want to be there. So.
Well, then let her resign. Actually ask her, would you resign? If she says she doesn't want to be there, ask for her resignation.
She wants to replace. She wants to replace with a previous board member, but obviously we have the quorum and majority, and that's not how. You know,
right.
You cannot pick and choose like what she wants.
Yeah, so I think, yeah, because I can tell how you asked the question. You know that you can't remove a director other than by recall. But the bottom line is you got your 3 out of 5. So, if you hold a meeting, you have your quorum and take votes. Do what you got to do. The 3 actually control the board. You know that. So just do what you got to do, and maybe the other 2 will get frustrated enough to just quit.
Do the other board members want her there?
I'm sorry?
Do the other board members want her there?
The other 2?
Yeah. No, she's part of the 2 of the old. So
Okay.
she doesn't want to be there, but she wants to appoint a previous board member from the election. And we said, well, you got elected. Either you help or you leave.
Well, of
So,
course. And if she wants to resign, then it's going to be the remaining 4 directors who get to fill her vacancy. Period.
Ah, yeah, there you go.
That's the bottom line. She doesn't get to fill it with somebody she wants.
She can make a suggestion.
Right. That's all she can do.
You don't have to pay attention
That's
to it.
it. So she can stay on the board and get outvoted 3-2 every single time, or she can quit and let the remaining board directors fill her vacancy. That's it. Period.
you know,
That's just what it
Thank
is. Okay.
And the board can
Thank you so
remove her,
much.
right?
Yeah, the board can't remove her. Now, by the way, does she hold any officer positions? Is she, president,
just
vice
director.
president, secretary, treasurer, anything like that?
just director.
Okay, just director. Okay, because you would have been able to remove her from an officer position. But bottom line is, you hold the cards. It's 3-2.
If she's not in officer position, the board can't
The
remove
board
her.
can't remove her because she's a director. She can't
But as a
remove a director
director-
other than recall.
Ah.
Yeah, so she's between a rock and a hard place. Okay.
So what about the other officer, the vice president?
If you want to remove that person
can
as
now,
vice
board.
president, you absolutely can. You can have a new organizational meeting, and at that organizational meeting, remove that person as vice president and put one of you 3 as vice president. Period. You can also make
I
that
got you.
director just a director, just like the other one. Completely take away their officer positions from them if that's what you want to do.
But you can kick them off the board as well.
Interesting.
You can't kick them off the board. You can remove them as officers.
Officer,
As
okay.
officers. You can remove
So
them
they're
as
still on the
officers.
board as a
Still
director.
on the board, but they would have absolutely no officer positions,
Okay, well,
just
there you go.
directors. Okay?
Interesting. So you could actually have two directors, and
No, hold on.
appoint
So
another vice
there's
president.
confusion here.
Yeah.
All 5 of you are directors.
Yes.
All 5 of you are directors. Okay? So, but there's certain officer positions: president, vice president, secretary, treasurer, and the 5 of you get to decide who holds what position. Now, so the 5 of you can say, okay, only the 3 of us are going to hold officer positions. The other 2 are just going to be regular directors. Period. Okay.
Beautiful. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you
got
so
it.
much.
Be well.
Wow.
Take care. All right, let's take our last call of the day. Who do we got?
Let's go to this is Olin.
Olin, how are you, Olin?
Hello.
Olin?
Hello.
Olin,
I wanna
where you
ask a
calling from? Hold
question.
on. Where you calling from?
From Tampa.
Tampa. Okay. How can we help?
Right. Okay. So, the director that's been recalled, can they come back?
Oh, interesting question. Everybody wants to know that.
You
Yes,
mean
they can
re-elected?
come back. They can be reelected. Absolutely.
So you can be,
So you can go through. I mean, at some associations, it's so hard to get enough votes. Right, a 300, let's say, unit condominium. You go and you get 160 votes. It's so hard. You work your butt off, and the recall is actually certified. And you say, "Great, we did it." Okay,
They're like
but
a bad penny.
but now it's time to do the new election. That person submits their name to run in the new election. Can they do it? Yes. And can they win and get on the board? Absolutely yes. They are not forever forbidden from being on a board of directors. Yes, they can come back. Okay?
Okay.
Yep, they can come back. All right? That answers your question?
Yes. Thank you.
Okay, you got it. All right, that brings us to the end of another show. God, the calls were great today. Not only calls, the questions in the chat box were great. We went to so many of them. Glad we got to talk about education and continuing education. Everybody knows that's my baby, Karen's baby, and what we've thought about it for the past 15 years.
We had a baby together?
Objection,
Wait
change
a
that.
minute.
Your Honor, turn that around.
What?
You got my tongue-tied now.
I'm sorry. No, it is our baby.
All
It
right.
is.
If you need help off the air, call Glazer and Sachs, 954-983-1112. You know, I actually do have a law practice where I actually go to
You
court and
do.
stuff like
I
that.
know.
Right?
You're
not
an
just
attorney.
this and not just teach classes. I'm actually an attorney.
Board certified.
954-983-1112, 954-983-1112. Can't wait to see you and speak to you again next Sunday on Condo Craze and HOAs at 11 a.m. Have a great and safe week, everybody.